Welcome to Free Range. Once again, we have Drake Bailey back, and he's going to go through another question and answer session for us. He's been doing this since March 2019, and it's been pretty much every week. So, as always, get some popcorn ready, buckle your seatbelt, because you never know what he's going to say. Here's your host, Gail of Gaia.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. This is Free Range, and this is Gail of Gaia, your host. And I have with me Drake Bailey for our weekly show. And today is August 1st, 2019, because so many people wanted me to put on the date. So I'm just going to say the date. Hi, Drake. I'll do. Well, why don't we start out like we always do with there's been some interesting things going on from a geopolitical standpoint, as well as a galactic standpoint. And so
I would, just to be honest, I wouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to this straight up politics because it's all bogus BS. All right.
I agree.
It don't mean nothing. There is nothing that anybody is going to accomplish through politics. Behind the scenes, there is a humongous amount of things happening. In order to better serve the public, the United States government is putting together a live stream of events coming up.
Oh,
I'm not sure which one, but most of the things that I've talked about in my David Wilcock interview in 2012 are coming to pass. People are not paying attention, okay? The ideology here is that Trump is not a Republican. Bear that in mind. Jesse Ventura stated it very, very succinctly about, as a comment about what's coming up in terms of the election and this, that, and the other thing, and all the horse hockey that deals with it. Well, he stipulated very simply, he ran as an independent, and he straightened out the state in which he became governor. Okay, he was not a politician; he was an outsider. Think about Trump. Trump is not politically affiliated. Period.
Yay! I like that.
Okay, so that means that neither the Democratic nor Republican parties have any say over what he does. Now, that does not mean he does not want to get reelected. So he does certain things that go in that direction. However, his independence, his bull in the china shop routines don't actually reflect the character of the man as much as what this country has needed for a long time. And it is somebody to break it off and get things set up the right way and see where it goes and how far it can reach and who can get to where and all that. That's where the political part of it or policy portion of it goes. To go along with that, everybody is aware that Barr reinstated the death penalty. There is a reason for that, and that is also dealing with some of the upcoming things. I'm not allowed to talk about them. I've been requested not to, so I'm not going to. However, if you want to know particulars about what is getting ready to happen, listen to the David Wilcock interview in 2012. It's on his website, trying to think of it, Divine Cosmos, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. You can find it on there. It's in the archives. But as far as upstairs goes, the upstairs is part, parcel, and principle in what's getting ready to happen. Everybody knows that there has been a script to be followed by politicians all over the planet. Some of them are going, no, bogus horse hockey, no facts in that, I'm not guilty, and all this other happy whatever. The only problem with that is that the evidence is there for a combination of things to take place. So what they're doing is they are facilitating, assisting, and helping to be sure that the script that's been given is followed. Now, that sounds kind of funny in terms of the president following a script. However, anybody you can think of, Macron, Putin, Xi, all of these people that are Chinese, North Korean, South Korean, etc., are required, remember that word, required to follow the script. If they do not comply, funky things start happening, and they don't want that, so they decided to follow the script. Okay. This worldwide script does several things. One of those is to establish the United States as the center of the planet. We're going to run things, okay? However, we're going to run things according to the primaries of your basic law of the land known as the Constitution. Now, E.T. told the Indians how to word a constitution so that they could stop their tribal wars. That constitution is in large part copied into ours. Okay. There are things in lifestyle that are beginning to be touted. My show says moderation or with a question mark. That's the title of this show. Okay. Is extremism being put aside? Are the questions. Now, what you have to look at is that the squad shut up.
Oh, that's big.
I wonder who had the power. Trump don't have the power. I wonder who had the power to say, shut your pie hole, or we'll sew your lips shut, or whatever it was they told them. You're noticing that, as an example, impeachment has been taken off the table. Schumer and Pelosi both said no. There was a vote on it, 334 against, and there's only 400 and some of them, and a whole bunch of abstain. It was like 334 to 20 or something, 24, 334 against. Okay, so they've already had that vote. It ain't flying. Now, there's reasons for that. A lot of the people that everybody is familiar with who makes donations to political parties and or campaigns, etc., have the capability of saying, well, you don't want no more of my money, do you? Oops.
Yeah.
Well, then you have the problem of the infighting in the Democratic Party, where the split is between status quo. Now, status quo would be Pelosi, Schumer, and a few others. The extreme leftist socialist nasties, and I include the squad in that number, and I hope they like that. But the schism or the big break, everybody knows that there were a lot of Democrats elected to the House of Representatives. They now have a majority. However, within that party, there are a large number of moderates. And by moderates, a moderate, you don't have to be conservative, a moderate, and you can put this under any political definition you like, but a moderate is very simple. You don't you don't burn a house down and remodel it. That's one of the first things. Okay. Secondly, you make sure that you don't bet the ranch when you're playing cards. It's not a good idea. Thirdly, they are at issue with the old leadership. They say that the leadership has gotten stale, which it has. However, Schumer and Pelosi gave them a big, boost, for want of a better term on that, by telling everybody, hey, no, you can't do this. But here's the deal. The moderates told Schumer and Pelosi that they're going to vote against everything if they don't straighten things up. So Schumer and Pelosi are in the process of trying to figure out how to maintain the Democratic base and at the same time straighten things up. In several ways, there used to be a large number of people raising hell and hollering about this, that, and the other thing. specifically the student riots on varying campuses and varying locations. Have you noticed that those have quit?
That's true.
Okay. What happens when somebody who looks exactly like all the pictures anybody's ever seen of God says, "Shut up"? What do you do with that? And I'm talking about a literal appearance to not only individuals, but groups. You ain't going there. Don't do that. Okay. ET has been playing games for a long time with what's known as advanced technology. They can make God appear, disappear, and they can also have physical interactions with people on that basis. So what you're looking at is that ET is up to their eyeballs in this. And when I have said that that a reckoning is coming up, that was after I kept hearing rumors about this, that, and the other thing. I'm not going to repeat the rumors. When things start happening, according to what I have just learned, then and only then might I consider bringing it up as a subject. Until that time, I'm leaving it alone. However, the moon's been replaced, Earth's orbit's been adjusted, the tectonic plates are just about done in terms of their being woven together so that they don't have that problem with the slippage that causes earthquakes. Simple, not complicated. Now, from the California mountains to the Mississippi, anywhere in that area may experience hard, heavy earthquakes. By that I mean 6 and above. Now, they won't get to the point of being nasty disaster 8.5 or whatever. They will stay within the 6 to 7 range. The 6 to 7 range is something that doesn't usually do any damage, but you're liable to find all your beans on the,
shaking around.
It's on the floor. Other than that, little boogity woogity. Okay, that is several of us working with ET, closing the deep underground military bases, better known as DUMBs, and the tunnel systems associated with them, as well as supply depots and all that. And these are going to be scattered at best. But sometimes we call ET and say, "Hey, you got a blaster that can go through that?" Well, of course we do. Hit that mother and see what pops out. I have seen what happens when you set fire to a pile of trash. Man, roaches will run. I didn't know cockroaches could do 30 miles an hour until I told a guy I thought that was bogus. He said, "Well, come on down." I was okay. I was living in the city at the time, and we experimented. We tossed in a little bit of charcoal lighter and a match, and my goodness gracious, we had cockroaches of about 50 different kinds, all the way up to about this big. Ooh, healthy mothers, right? Those are the kind that'll give you the finger and keep doing push-ups. Okay. We had rats. Now, normal rat is maybe 6-8 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
These suckers, and it goes way off screen. These suckers are up to 1.5 to 2 feet.
Cat.
Boys. Well, that was after we decided to throw some military-grade smoke bombs down a certain sewer that they said they come out of every night. I was, well, let's see if they come out when you smoke them real good. They came out. Okay. Now, these are experiments of my own. The problems that we have had as a society in terms of greed, I believe a certain city and a certain representative was mentioned recently by Trump. And you cannot allow people to live under those conditions. Therefore, what's going to happen is that the Fed is going to say, you got a choice. Either we bring troops in or you fix it. Yeah, we don't know who stole the money, but it'd be nice to know because we'd like to nail their hide to the side of the barn. And when I'm talking about nailing hides to barns, I'm talking about serious federal charges. And when you take, I think he said it was 2.5 billion or something recently, 2017, somewhere along in there, and it just doesn't do anything at all. What do you mean there's no rat traps? What do you mean dilapidated buildings that are not terrible ain't getting fixed? We just gave all that. Where'd the money go? Well, a certain representative with a big mouth got to ask that question. Oh, you don't do that to me. Oh, yeah? Well, maybe it's in your pocket then, huh? Okay, here's the deal. A long time ago, I got pissed at the Senate Financial Investigative Committee. They weren't doing diddly squat. I don't know if it was incompetence, whether they didn't know how, somebody forgot something, or they missed a boat, or however all that went. But there was a thing came out about that same time, and it is a procedure whereby you can track, trace, and find the ending origins of any form of anything of monetary value. It's called follow the money.
Oh, yes, I've heard that one before.
Okay, well, I got that put into their one of their primary research methods. Mm-hmm. It's in the committee, okay? If they follow the money, they'll find the bad guys, okay? That's part of it. Now, back to E.T. E.T. has been extraordinarily busy. To understand how busy, think of the moon as a hollow sphere with several large populated cities inside of it that watch what's going on, monitor things, try to help, etc. And you get an idea as to having two of them, right? Now think about this very carefully. Taking all the stuff out of the one, putting it in the new one, taking the old one out of there and putting the new one in place without anybody seeing it.
I remember seeing that looked like there was a piece of paper going over the moon not too long ago. So that don't look right.
What's neat about it is that they did all this stuff without anybody seeing it. Yeah. There aren't any videos. There aren't any witnesses. What do you do with that? We're going back to the moon, really? We're gonna go. We gotta have to take a new flag up there and plant it, and we're gonna have to make new footy prints. And anyway, so what you have is a way station of sorts, and primarily a research institute within the moon, and they're watching. What they do is they monitor things. If they see something coming, like a big earthquake underwater that's going to create a tsunami, that's going to wipe out California, they take care of the problem. They don't fool around talking about it. They just go in there and make it behave by whatever means. The knitting or the rejuncturing of the tectonic plates is major.
Yeah.
This will stop a lot of the fun and games we've been going through with the Ring of Fire. I know I'm familiar with the technology, but I won't go into that here. But ET's up to their eyeballs in what we're supposed to be accomplishing. And here's the other part, as certain things start unfolding, people are going to be shocked, quite literally, by the names involved of the people that are going to be included in this. And you wouldn't want anybody to feel like they weren't included, so they're going to include a whole bunch of people. Several things are going to transpire. First, religiosity is going to be popped like a zit. Religiosity deals with people who can't bring themselves to think for themselves to the extent where they actually get the true answers. ET will provide this. Well, there's going to be a channel on TV, and this is one that will deal with these types of social interactions, specifically religious BS that everybody's been fed forever. Okay.
Awesome.
The second channel is going to be to explain the technology as to how to program a replicator, as an example, because everybody's going to end up with one. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3 is neat. Number 3 is where everybody works together. on projects. Christians, Muslims, everybody, elbow to elbow. Jewish, doesn't matter. Okay? The reason they're mixing this together is so that these people can understand what was trying to be done in terms of our integration efforts. The reason our integration efforts, specifically busing, was so ridiculous is because the people that they bust already had been indoctrinated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I hate Whitey, Whitey hates me, and we just have a big old race riot at the nearest high school. Horse manure. You take little kids, and this is going to be done. I hope everybody's ready for this. You take little kids, irrespective as to belief systems that have been taught to them, right? You tell them, no, don't worry about the belief system. And you intermix different, let's say, societies, different types of government
Cultures,
structures and all that. When little kids get together, you give them a box and they turn it into a spaceship, time machine. Okay, they're not worried about Muslim or Christian or Jewish. They just plain couldn't care. So what is going to happen are that the little ones, as dear children, finally mix it up. When these people get together and mix it up, they're going to find, they're looking at each other, you're a different color. And they turn around and look, so are you. Well, so what? Okay. Wow, man. And they look at this other one, you're different from both of us. Okay. Whoopee. One of the things that got me when I first started working with ET was we got these cute little sayings and whatever about white's right, black's beautiful, and all these other happy things. But that's just humans. Now, I've seen some ETs that I guarantee you make you cringe just looking at them because they're so different. And I was talking to one of the people that I talk to regularly, and I said, would I cause a major fuss if I asked? He said, what are you going to ask? Well, I was going to ask there's a couple of ETs I seen that were just unbelievable in the way they look. And he said, yeah. I said, well, what if I asked them if we as humans appear just as ugly to them or just as frighteningly grotesque as they see us? And he said, go ahead and ask. This guy happened to be a high-level diplomat, universal level, not galactic, universal level. They're the ones that tell the people that actually run the universes what to do. So, this wasn't a podunk. I asked him, I said, tell me something. You look ugly and grotesque to me, but do I appear just as ugly and grotesque to you? He couldn't answer the question because he was laughing so hard. He's, oh yeah. So, you have to have everything with a little bit of, humor, but it was not intentional to be humorous, but that question circulated all over the galaxy. So apparently I made an inroad.
It's tolerance of appearances, not being judgmental and, feeling superior or some other thing like that.
When it looks like one of those things from a horror movie, and it wants to shake your hand, you go, ew, you're dripping something. Yeah, that's normal for me. Is it sticky and gooey and nasty and smells bad? Yeah. I ain't shaking your hand. What are you, crazy? Okay. One of the basic rules. Everybody needs to get this through their head. No physical contact. We have types of illnesses and diseases that most of the ETs don't have any resistance to, and the same is true of the ETs. There's a skin thing that within a few hours you don't have any skin left. Put it that way. So That's from ET. Well, we got things such as cancerous, where the cells program themselves to self-destruct. They don't need that shit either. So it's a kind of a two-way street now. But it is known as a common courtesy to not have physical contact. You can bow to each other if you wish. That is a sign of respect. But both entities bow, not just one. If it's just one, that's a sign of surrender. When both entities bow, that's a sign of recognition and respect. Very simple. The same way that the Japanese do it is primarily correct, as well as many of the Asian countries. China has it to some effect, to some extent. So we have all of this stuff that's been going on for years, and it's about to culminate. And if you ain't ready, you better get a lot of popcorn. You're gonna need it. This is supposed to be a show and a half.
Oh, how exciting. That's exciting. And so people don't need to be into this great state of fear and doom and gloom and Armageddon or whatever.
Armageddon's not happening. Neither are the great earth changes or any of the other, not to make anybody mad, but fear porn is fear porn.
Yes. That's great. That's wonderful. There's too much of that out there.
Relax. This ride is going to make roller coaster.
All right. That's awesome. Are you ready for some questions?
Oh, yeah. Sock it to me.
Okay. And this one just so happens to be about ETs. Do all the ETs in our skies or in our outer space watch us like on a TV or computer monitor, like the movie Truman Show? Do they just tune into a certain person and check out every thought and action he or she is doing in real time? Kind of answered that a little bit.
Only if the individual they're looking at is a part of something that is sensitive or dangerous. They keep real close eye on those guys. And the rest of us, no, not really. They look at us and think we're kind of weird, strange and weird and stupid, but that's,
based on some of the things we do, right?
There's another human. What are you going to do?
Okay. Which movie would you say has accurately illustrated how all the dumb underground military bases look like in reality?
None.
None? Wow.
They're not allowed to correctly portray it for a variety of reasons. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's one of those censorship things then.
It's more than censorship. It's agreed to by all sides.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Be interesting to see where that one ends up.
Okay. Ask Drake if it is safe to buy oceanfront property, for instance, in the Dominican.
Not in Arizona.
There isn't any in Arizona.
Oceanfront. What's the concern? Rising sea?
Yeah, because of something that someone said about melting and everything's going to flood and it's going to wash away all the shorelines, which
oh my goodness,
we've already covered that.
If you take a road apple and toss it in the creek, does it float? Okay, here's how it is. If this is just horse manure, but it's good horse manure because it's got some information. If every bit of all of the ice and snow on the planet melted suddenly, we would not get enough. We would get about between 1 inch and 3 inches of sea rise. Think about that very carefully. 1 inch to 3 inches, is that going to destroy Florida and everywhere? No. Okay. I don't advocate buying properties in foreign countries without them being totally and completely vetted. Okay.
That makes sense. And that also is why I have decided that every so often I'm going to run a rerun, because obviously this is something that was already addressed in our previous show.
I find that the most important and pertinent questions are reiterated. Everybody learned when they were in grade school by a teacher insisting on I want you to do your times tables. Yeah.
Or write some words 100 times or something like
1
that.
and 1 is 3. Yeah, right.
Okay, next question. When the ships start landing and healing begins, will problems such as myelofibrosis be looked after, or will we have to wait for onboard healing? It is myelofibrosis is a very destruction of the bone marrow, which is very similar to cancer. My husband was given 2 years to live just about over 2 years ago. Well, he's already proved the doctor's wrong, so that's a good thing right there.
Okay. Here's how it is. Think about the planet being disease-free, not exclusive of anyone, but disease-free, totally. This is what you can look forward to. This will take somewhere between 6 and 18 months to accomplish totally, or to finish the completion of the program. We will have access to a combination of healing technologies, etc., that takes a person's DNA and restructures it according to the way it was supposed to be in the beginning. Anyway, what happened was we have had pirates, and you can think of those however you want. The guy with the badge and all that, or whatever. Well, the pirates we still have with us today. Some of them are not gone yet. In the near future, we will start. There will be a program to. There will be a program to eliminate all disease, and I say all. That's all included. That's all inclusive. The situation takes care of a combination of things. One of those is not just healing, but we were supposed to have 1,800 years. That's our natural lifespan. We get 50 to 70 right now. Well, guess what? When you reinitiate that, it takes care of a lot of them aging problems. Okay, number 3 is the real mother of all of them. Attitude problems go to brain chemistry, which is controlled by DNA. So some nutcase that they have to scrape off the ceiling to give it its shots every once in a while. All of these things will be addressed. So it's going to be a situation where nobody has to worry about any form of cancers, incurables, and other things. Simply because we don't have the technology does not mean that it will be provided.
Well, our DNA has been damaged with a lot of the things that have been done.
It's worse than damaged. They took a friggin' steak knife and cut it loose in a whole bunch of places.
Oh, that junk DNA, is that what you're referring to? That's not junk?
You see the little DNA like so, and then if you look at some other ones, they got up space. Well, this is all of these will be rectified. It's not a limited deal. In short, old farts like me, or people that are 50 plus who don't really feel like they got to get up and go, or maybe they're get up and go retire.
Got up and went.
Yeah. All of the energy and creativity and fun and games you experienced as a teenager is going to be reinitiated so that you have the availability of that once again. This does not mean you're going to lose what you know now. Well, I better not do that. Yeah. Well, you didn't learn that until you was 23. When you was 18, oh man, let's do it. Simple. Walking in wisdom means the application of knowledge to a situation. That's what walking in wisdom means. Wisdom means knowledge and action by true definition. So what we know now applied, and then having the get up and go and the gumption and the fun and games of a teenager. Ooh.
Well, I do know that, because I talked to DNA specialists, and there has been damage done by mercury and aluminum and things like that. I'm sure it can all be reversed, but that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, next question. In 4D, what happens to all of our savings and investments that we accumulated in 3D? And is there a remuneration factor for the services rendered in 4D?
You're not going to get paid for what you're doing in 4D, but what you're going to have is a world that is very similar to 3D, except the stress, pain, and strain of the horse hockey is gone. In other words, you have you don't have to absolutely have in order to be able to have a decent existence, okay? And it goes beyond existence according to what you, the individual, applies in terms of the knowledge that you're given. So everybody's gonna go to classes. Now, the graduate class is neat, okay? Now, first of all, you're going to have new powers and abilities. That's what the first class is about. So you don't blow up the neighbor's cat, turn the dog inside out. You don't hang your ex by their whatever from the tree in the front yard. You do some things that you're not supposed to do. And you do all these by accident. So in 4D. So you'll have classes showing you how to function correctly. The graduate classes are going to be the interesting ones because it deals with all of the rest of it. Okay.
Awesome. So we don't want any big oops.
No. Your brain surgeon is forbidden from saying.
Okay. This question had a continuation, but I think you already answered it. But I'll just put it out there anyway. If you go to 4D and someone I have left an inheritance to remains or returns to 3D, what happens to the inheritance? There won't be anybody left behind, will there?
Everything in 3D goes.
Thank you.
Everything. The cat, the dog, the parakeet. You'll love this one. And the kids and the grandkids. And nutcases, everything and everybody goes. Now, the only differential you'll see right off the bat is that stinging insects no longer have a stinger. Oh, that's lovely. You don't have to worry about getting stung, okay? They will not need the defense mechanisms that they had used in terms of the stinger. So, animals that would normally be aggressive won't be. You'll be able to telepathically talk to the cat, the dog, the trees, wild critters.
I can't wait.
Well, we had a nice blessing. Mom and two of her cubs come through our yard, stopped at our apple tree. A mama bear was maybe 7 foot, probably weighed 300 pounds, give or take. Little bitty cubs were maybe 1.5 feet, 2 foot long. They're into everything. I mean, trying to figure out what's going on. Mom's trying to keep them under control. Mom saw me and rushed off. Then when the cubs were beginning to run along the wood line, she stands up and watches me very carefully to be sure the babies are safe. When the babies had come over to her, she moved about another 50, 60 feet, right to the edge of the what is known as a holler. The babies went down over the edge and she stood up again and took note. She watched, she looked, she memorized me. She memorized my wife. So, and animals are a lot smarter than people think.
That's right. It's kind of where the saying came, a mama bear protecting her cubs.
Yeah, well, but she didn't feel the need to.
Exactly.
About it because we weren't screaming or hollering and we weren't shooting no guns, and we thought it was pretty neat. We stood there in silence and watched.
Didn't threaten them in any way. That's what it's all about. They sensed that immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Is he still the real David Wilcock, or has he been taken out and replaced with a clone?
He's had some healing done to him that makes him look that way. I won't get into the specifics of how he does things. You can go to his website, divinecosmos.com, I believe it is.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He explains a lot of what goes on. Okay.
Here's another one. Where exactly is your soul located in your body?
Oh, well, I have to use the three-part being. You have the machine, that's our biological self. Then you have the soul, which is the combination of your character and the manner in which you conduct yourself physically. All right? That's what it is. It is a form of energy that we can't figure out. Now, you add spirit to that, and you get to get all three of them to talking to each other. Ooh, you talk about a party.
People have a tendency to interchange soul and spirit as if it's the same.
There's a difference. The difference is that soul is aptly described in the Bible as soul life. That which gives us our character, etc. Spirit is also a part of that at the beginning, but it starts standing back as you mature, depending on how you act. And if you are interested in maintaining the trident, people are going to love this, the trident of body, soul, and spirit as a unicular or singular entity, you're going to be miles ahead of everybody. You'll know what's going to happen before it all kinds of great stuff. Okay?
Integration of all three.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Why, I don't think this is happening. Why do some remove souls out of people?
You don't, unless you kill them.
Okay. If a person's soul has been removed, will they be able to reincarnate again? Like that was a
well, they're going to have the
misunderstanding.
The people that implant and put the things together will have to take that soul and spirit and put it back in the great pools, and then they can draw from it according to what they're going to do with this particular implanted person. Reincarnation is where you do not lose. You lose the physical. Okay, that's this part of us. It ceases to function. However, your spirit can carry your soul life with you, with it. Okay, and you and your spirit can then be reinserted into another viable organic, I don't know what you call it, trash bag for some people.
Vessel.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I have gotten into some of the particulars, and it gets complicated right quick.
Yeah, it is complicated. Okay, he mentioned all the. Oh,
I did.
okay, not you, someone else, and we already covered this. Again, it's about the flooding and the melting ice, which is not relevant when you think about it.
1 to 3 inches maximum, and if that won't float your surfboard, you might have trouble getting out there.
What about the floods that are happening or appear to be happening all over? Is weather machines doing this, or?
We have had a combination of the weather machines screwing things up and a planetary shift. You'll notice that the sun is at a different place when it rises and sets, and you'll also notice that the moon is a little bit different in its position than it was. All of these factors go together to basically have made primarily the mess. Now that we're pretty much free of the weather machines and the nasty feather muckers that decided to play with everybody's lives, what we have is a settling, an evening out back to what it was like back in the, 1800s. You didn't have humongous snowstorms. You didn't have flooding everywhere necessarily. However, during those times and during those incidents, you had a load of high level, technologically advanced ETs screwing it up. So that's the great blizzard, or what's with all the rain? Well, did you notice that the rain stopped? I rest my case.
Yeah, we had we had rain here in Arizona, which was I have to mention this because it was so unique, and that is the purple sky. The sky looked purple the other day, and it was raining, which reminded me I had to play the song "Purple Rain." But you had explained that. Perhaps you might like to elaborate on that a little.
Well, if you want to have some fun, look up what causes the purple coloration of the sky, and you're going to learn. It's really going to be a mind blower when you find out the substance that does that.
Okay. Everybody's got a homework assignment. Come back, leave it in your comments. Okay. Let's see. Next question. If we do live under a dome on a top surface world, would you consider a new ocean water will flood from the 4D world to the 3D world?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Live under a dome. Anybody that says we are, don't know what's going on.
Okay. I think I remember seeing a picture or a video of someone shooting a rocket up, and it looked like it hit a dome. So I don't know, is that real seriously? It was weird. That could be staged too, though. Okay. Or maybe each of us will experience different changes based on our own energy vibration. Will they?
Yeah, sort of. Lord, how can I express this? Everything is a multiplicity. And each person has a soul pattern. Oh boy, here we go. You have to look that one up. You have a soul pattern. You have and with that, an extraordinarily, and I mean extraordinarily and extreme signal. Now, broadcast TV has over 17,000 signals just so you can watch TV. Okay.
17,000?
Now let's a soul pattern has 280,000 facets, each with their own frequency and signature. So you want to get into something that's complex? Figure that one out. That'll keep you busy the rest of your life, guaranteed, because some of these frequencies don't exist on a physical basis. They exist in perceptivity of that particular item being looked at. In other words, it is it's like spirit. Okay.
Yeah. How to define that?
Physical. So therefore, okay. Think about a lot of these not being. There ain't no frequency with that. Oh yes, there is.
You take so much to learn. So much to learn.
These poor bastards that were scientists, scientific and scientists. And I said, okay, well, try this one. And I would work with them for a little bit. And all of a sudden I'd go, wow, there ain't nothing there, but it's there. I see it. Uh-huh. I love doing that.
All right. Let's see. Would Drake think we will have a big or small financial crash or economic shock in the coming September as we move closer to 9/11? More fear porn here.
No. What you've seen is a downturn because of the people that were not prepared for the rate reduction. That's first. And if the Fed were truly independent and knew what they were doing, they would have said, no, leave it just like it is and see where it goes. If it gets dicey, bingo, we'll drop the interest rate. If it does not, then we'll be in good shape. Now, if you watch the markets today, they went back from 26 something back into the 27s again. The reason they did that is not because of the interest rate, but because everybody got their head around it and said, oh, okay, that means I can do such and such at lesser cost. Oh, boy. And away we go. We'll see. I don't think Trump's correct in terms of it being huge numbers of points higher. There is a certain point whereby, and this is going to mess with you, but if you look back in time, each and every last financial system ever known always reached what would be called a self-destructive point or level. And when that happens, the whole thing goes bluey, okay? And you had empires and whatever fall over dead because of this. Not because of necessarily politics or they lost the war and they're taking over or we're being invaded or any of that, but because of the loss of the true equity of what they were dealing with in finance. Now, try this one. Expect all finance to go in the toilet in the very near future permanently and not to come back. Forget your large sums of cash, except that the small fish will be able to exchange theirs for the new. Now, take that to this next step, and you're going to see a cashless society. It's going to be done on a equity card, not a credit card. I didn't say credit, I said equity card. Big difference in terms of the value, among other things. An equity card for the average person would be equivalent to having a $25,000 credit card that you don't have to pay back.
You don't have to pay back? Is that what you said?
No, yes, I did. I said it.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, next question. Once we all get to 4D, will we advance from there on an individual basis?
No. The whole thing goes or nothing. We as a society have to advance ourselves to the point where we can not only accept, but also deal with and know the direction in which we're going. These are the prerequisite bases. Okay. Only a very few of us have the capability of going to different locations in terms of densities. I am not limited. I can visit any density. I've gone all the way up to the great pools of soul, life, and spirit and seen them. Oh, talk about something to see. I have seen the entities that make the decisions. The further you go or the higher you go, the more serious it starts getting. Well, I've told a lot of them, hey, man, you need to cut loose. What do you mean? I said, well, and I got a guy around, hey, man, can you get me a big bag of this? Yeah, I guess I can. What for? Well, just get it for me. I went to one of the main meetings. All the dignitaries you'd ever want to think about are all there. I took about 25 pounds of ping pong balls and dumped them over the railing. And we had ping pong balls going everywhere. And they thought it was hilarious. They finally figured out they could have fun under serious circumstances and not have to worry about it. You don't get no joy. The ideology of joy is the basis for love, because when you are with that person, you have an interactive joy between the two of you. You have that which is the great mystery, how two become one. It is not through the flesh. It doesn't work that way. A lot of people say, well, it does. Okay, fine. Then your kids are all idiots, right? You know? So what you have to learn to deal with is the truth in combination with the reality, so that you get the correct results.
All righty then. That sounds like a plan. Okay, let's see. Some staying in 4D indefinitely, while others moving on to 5D and 5D rather quickly. And will that be done in one life cycle or over 1 billion years? You already answered that in a way.
Yeah. Basically, you go from everybody and everything goes from 3, clunk, 4, clunk. When everybody is acceptably trained, taught, and informed in 4, then you can go to 5. But not before.
That makes sense, yeah. So everybody needs to get on board, and respect for all life and each other is very important in all of that.
Among things, yes.
Yes. Will Obama ever be exposed for the total fraud that he is complete with a real birth certificate? Same question for Michelle. Will she ever be exposed? Does it matter?
A lot of people asking that, so everything's already been exposed.
Yeah, it has, really. I mean,
so now what are we waiting for? Somebody to take some kind of action on it? Just be sure you got extra popcorn, kick back and watch. You're not going to believe what you see, but it's going to be real. That's all.
Okay, that's good. Is whomever is running the plan, quote, quote, blind or oblivious to the current situation we find ourselves in? Perhaps they're too safe and sequestered in their nice little safe offices, bases, and bunkers to know what we're really going through out here.
They're doing it intentionally to you. What do you mean know what's going on? They're doing it. They designed it. They're perpetrating it. They're sticking it in places where it don't supposed to go.
On purpose.
On purpose, with intent to cause harm, pain, and any kind of suffering you can think of. Get your popcorn ready.
But guess what? That's about to come to an end.
No, we're going to just have a popcorn party.
Okay, it's not going to come to an end?
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to rewind this and listen to it again.
It's not necessarily going to come to an end.
Okay.
It's going to come to a culmination.
Okay. Oh, okay. I get it. All right. That's sneaky. Okay. Let me see. I guess I have to put my glasses on at this point. My eyes are losing it. We can't have execution squads to start eliminate the bad guys. Meanwhile, the Dark Cabal even has a term for it, Arcan side, thanks to the Clintons, and the trail of bodies were left in their wake. Please, Asterisk, how can we contact him? Oh, how can we contact him directly?
No.
Okay, see, I've told people that. I'm not at liberty to disclose that to you, and I don't. Same reason why Drake doesn't disclose his sources or certain information.
Advertise my email address or phone number for the reason that I get a combination of total nutcases. I mean, people that don't make sense to themselves, let alone anybody else. And my hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Period. People that talk to me outside of those hours are stupid. Well, they also have communications problems. I hang up the phone, among other things. If it's not my family and my house is not on fire and things of that nature, we're not in World War III, then those who do have my number know better than to call me. Here's the deal. The specifics of what I get are something that the military and just about every agency you can think of has been trying to figure out for a long time. I get my information in such a manner that they can't figure out how I'm doing it. And, well, didn't only 2 people know about that? Yeah, but he's talking about stuff that came from the origin. Oh, boy. I just have a great deal of fun with the spy people.
That's good. I like that. That's good. They deserve it. Couldn't happen to better people.
Exactly. I confound them real regularly.
Okay. Can you please explain why we're supposed to compensate Native Americans for stolen land, which was in reality acquired via conquest? Ooh, that's arrogant. Just like they did to each other.
Whoa. Back up. Acquired how?
Conquest.
Conquest.
That's what it says.
Ah, okay. Because we stole it. No legal basis for it other than a papal bull that said we could.
And how many millions did they kill in the process? I'm not going to say we because I didn't have anything to do with it.
Somewhere between 30 and 100 million people.
Yeah, see, that's just horrible. Yeah, but Native Americans aren't the only group of people that have been slaughtered at one time or another. It seems like many of us have.
We need to pay special attention when things start turning around. We need to pay special attention and get heavily involved in making sure that the people who should run Africa, that whole continent, is rotten.
That was the next thing that was going to be asked, because if we don't owe former African slaves reparations for stealing the benefits of their labors.
Oh, no, you don't. No. You ain't making me pay reparations, period. Not happening. And I'll tell you why. It's very simple. When you have great-great-grandfathers 2-3 generations away that have been dead for however long, now some podunk dingleberry thinks that they're all that and they are owed money. Well, that's called welfare, and that I am against. Welfare shouldn't be happening. That's the first part of this. Second part is, my family owned slaves, and we did better by the manner in which we treated those people than any other slave owner in the country. We provided decent housing. We provided education. Not supposed to do that. Illegal. Most places there was. And third, we provided eventual freedom. And by that, I mean, when a person produces in terms of working, that is worth X amount. Mm-hmm. We deducted that from the, and I quote this loosely, purchase price of these human beings. And when they had reached the point of parity, then we decided that it would be a good idea for them to own a portion of the estate. And they were brought before legalists who had the capability of setting that up. The owners, my ancestors, made sure that each of the people who were supposed slaves were given a portion of the estate. Okay, and that depends on how many people you got. Now, here's the other part. They were also granted their freedom at that same time. In other words, if they wish to go back to Africa and see if they could find their tribal members or some family members or some such as that, we actually kicked in a steamboat freight to get them there. So, a lot of chains clanking and bullwhips cracking is ridiculous. Only if a person is willing, in some form or another, no matter the coercion, only if a person is willing will they comply with what somebody demands. It don't matter if you got chains or bullwhips or whatever form of torture might be common. What matters is the individual doesn't want to go through this because they disagree with that. Okay, in this particular point of view, they were told. As soon as they got down off that auction block, they were told what we were up to and that they were not to breathe a word of it. Now, we had some senior partners, I don't know how to express it any other way, who had already been granted a portion of the estate and their freedom, and they were talking to them. They explained it. Hey, man, this is for real. I got the paperwork to show you if you need to see it. Are you kidding me? No, you got to work a certain amount of time to get to where you need to be. Bingo. Now that will give you an idea as to my family history. Reparations for what? For somebody's great-great-great-grandfather? No.
Well, not to mention the fact that...
Hold on a minute. We need steamboat freight one way to Africa so they can go find their tribe if they're really that, set on it.
All right. Well, the other thing of it is there are other peoples who have been indentured servants or slaves as well, like the Irish, for example.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff happened so many years ago.
I'm supposed to pay now for the sins of my forefathers 200-300 years ago. I
Yeah.
don't think.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. But anyway, not all slave owners were as kind as your and giving as your family is, but at the same time,
True.
or was. Pardon?
And they always had trouble with their people. And the reason they always had trouble with their people is because of the way they treated them. Real simple. It's not complicated.
Exactly. And it's not that different with different corporations and having to work for a living now and be paid minimum wages. You can't even get what some would have been able to accomplish with what you're talking about. But anyway, on to the next one.
All right.
What's the point of having offices like Jesus Christ and Satan Lucifer? Seems like it's just another method of manipulation and messing with our hearts and minds. Why all the subterfuge and woo-woo? Just give us a straight answer.
Okay, the straight answer is simple. By creating an office, whether it's Satan or JC or whom it may be, and you got to go look this up, and then you're going to have real fun because the Catholic and Christian churches don't want to divulge the information. However, I'm going to just screw their minds up a little bit. Creating an office means that when that entity gets old and dies, you have a ready replacement before that time. You have somebody who is schooled in what it takes to operate that office, be it JC, Lucifer, or whatever. Now, do not equate Lucifer with evil. Do not equate JC with absolute good. There are some faults with both. And the light bearer, think about that very carefully. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. The light bearer, the one that brought God with him, how can that be evil? Oh, he fell. Oh, really? He disagreed with management, so they had a big war up in the heavens. That war that you're fooling with was a huge ET war. And they have squat to do with these offices. So
Okay.
get into a whole bunch of bogus ring around the rosy. All of this stuff will come out when the histories are made available. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I just got my computer acting up here. Let me hit something and say later.
Okay.
Wants to restart. This isn't a good time for that.
No.
Okay. Who are these ancient builders?
Who are the ancient builders?
Yeah.
I'm not at liberty to explain the ancient builders for the simple fact that they, just because they left, don't mean they ain't still around, and they have specifically requested that I don't discuss them. There's a variety of reasons for that. Will come apparent at a later date. They're going to out some things that give you an idea as to why I wasn't supposed to talk about it. Okay?
Okay. What about blue avians?
Well, I found one once, and it was hollow, like a mannequin. I went to the spheres, and nobody was home. So I don't give them a lot of credit.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Golden triangle head beings?
Golden triangle what?
I never heard of these ones before. Golden triangle head beings. Like their head is a golden triangle.
Oh, not exactly. It appears that way. You have to adjust your perceptual capability in order to really see the entity. Okay?
Okay. Are you familiar with Peshat?
The who?
Pashats?
Not
I think they're the lion people.
Okay.
The
Here's the thing. You can, the problem, two problems. First, the true entity and being able to actually perceive. I'm not saying see, I'm saying perceive what that entity really looks like is extraordinarily difficult. If you are not an adept, you ain't gonna be able to do it correctly. And if somebody supplies you the answer, oh, does that mean everybody in the race gets a trophy? Oh yeah. Whoopee.
Okay. Will we ever get to meet the ETs, I guess, or, anyone?
Yeah, that's coming sooner than people think, and much more direct than they expect. All of the, there will be a channel a special channel open on each and every last cable hookup, computers or TVs or whatever, all of the TVs, satellite included, radio broadcasts as well for people who don't have the capability of video. And everything that you ever want to know about ETs will be explained. Now, they're going to go through a history that takes about 3 days. It is complex, it's intense, but at the end of that, guess what? We get to ask questions.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Just like this is, isn't it?
How come you look so weird? Well, if you think I look weird, you should see yourself. You look totally strange to people like us. What do you do with that, you know?
Touche, huh? Okay, we had that one already about Roger Stone being forced with the Dark Cabal have to do what Roger Stone had to do.
Yeah, Roger Stone contacts me, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I get little tidbits from him, as I expected. I'm one of the people that helped get him out of trouble.
Okay, so he's happy camper now.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the point for all of these Holly weirdos to portray themselves as the opposite gender? Like, what benefit is it to the Dark Cabal, especially when they try to keep it hidden and pretend everything is normal?
A combination of division and separation, and the fact that people have their own ideas about what should be done, but oh, that ain't acceptable. You can't be queer in today's society. Well, all of that went out in the mid-90s, started going out. Now, what that means is that, and I don't know who the idiot was that decided this, but what that means is that your personal, private sexual orientation gets to be in a parade of all things. I mean, good Lord, man. I don't want somebody playing proctologist with my underwear. Would you? Well, you know, somebody reaches for my underwear, it better be my wife. If it ain't my wife, they're liable to draw back a bloody nub. Oh, that hurt. No, there's that. I don't play that, but I'm not going to go hunting people who are gay just because they are. So long as you don't get in my face and flame out, then I don't worry about what you think and how you act. That's your deal. That's personal. It's private. Should be kept private. The idea, one of the great things with this is confusion. Yes. And the author of Confusion was supposed to have been Lucifer. Well, that's not exactly true. It was authored by a certain group of ETs who are nasty mothers, and we've pretty much eradicated most of them. Anyway, this is why you got trannies, and I'm using this, trannies, and, what do they call them people that dress the opposite sex?
Cross-dressers.
Well, yeah, okay.
Or it might be something else.
But they're going in and saying that it's okay. Well, it's not okay for public education or the government or anybody else to say you gotta. I don't gotta. Okay. Simply, you don't have the right to screw with my kid's mind. Parental rights come in heavy, and they should be kept that way. Parents should decide when their kids are old enough to learn about sex. Parents should decide the best manner in which to present those subjects. Okay, it's not up to the school system. It's not up to the educators. It ain't up to the friggin' teachers. But you get a drag queen going into my any of my grandchildren's schools, and I'm gonna come visit, and you ain't gonna like it.
Yeah, I saw some of that on.
Yeah, it's all over.
But anyway, I think that was at least in part responsible due to malevolent beings that are adding chemicals to our food, which are feminizing the man. And if you look at atrazine, for example, And some of the studies that were done with that on frogs, I mean, it turned male frogs into female frogs. So,
Atropine does not do that. You're
that's
talking
crazy.
about the derivative of it. Atropine causes your system
Atrazine.
to resist chemical and biological warfare entities. Okay.
Atrazine. Yeah. Okay.
Atropine. Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked that one up, so I know what I'm talking about. Well, okay. Well, we had that BPA too. That's supposed to have hormonal imbalancing properties as well.
Hey, all they did was switch to a different kind. They're still doing the same
thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay. Take one out, put another one, does the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real swift.
Those lovely people. Anyway, is replicated food as tasty and nutritious as real grown food?
In some cases, more so. You can alter concentrations of things like a tomato or whatever that you would replicate. You got to really know how to do that. I don't recommend screwing with it. Once you get a decent tomato or onion or beef stew out of your replica, I'd just leave it alone personally. But if you want to accentuate some things a little bit, there are ways to do that. You will have to get with ET because they're the only ones I know of who know how to adjust the basic program for a replicator. Okay.
Huh. Okay. Well, then the next question was, well, what about coffee and chocolate? Why are ETs so desperate to get some coffee and chocolate when they visit Earth?
Because they're not programmed into their replicators. And they just love the stuff. Ooh, coffee. I mean, before coffee is a good question. And then, women are supposed to be addicted to chocolate. Now, what ET eventually will want for this, I have no idea, other than I know for sure they're going to replicate the heck out of it. Okay.
Okay. Well, that was the next question. Well, don't they have replicators? So why are they asking for it if they already got replicators?
Because it doesn't exist in their realms, doesn't exist from their worlds. You see, you have to understand each planet, each one of the planets, and there's a load of them in just our galaxy, let alone the universe, has certain little things that are, shall we say, unique to that planet. Coffee is us. Chocolate has been derived. Now, that comes from cocoa, so remember that. Now, the only problem replicators have is that they cannot decently replicate things like aging. The aging system for liquors, as an example, sometimes doesn't come out quite right. Okay, the things that they really have trouble with are usually fermented. So sauerkraut, they love the hell out of it. How the hell am I supposed to put that in a replicator? Replicator's spitting it back out saying, oh, no, you don't.
Okay, let's see. Why would we need to worry about people being fed if everyone has a replicator?
Well, not everybody's going to have them right off the top. You got to remember, we're going to manufacture these things. Oh, talk about jobs at $25, $30 an hour. Ooh. Okay. The people that have the worst problems in terms of being able to eat, etc., are going to be the first to get these. In other words, you're going to pick out certain places where it can't be found by bad guys and absconded with, where they can feed the people. Okay. Now, there's only two reasons that people go off the deep end. First, they want to get what they can. That's where your monetary problems come in, and they're taking everything. And we have to live in the jungle, and we got to run all the time, so we can't grow a crop. So we're taking all the yours, that sort of thing. Get get something by force. That's one thing. Okay, now that's self-preservation, and I understand that, but in a very limited way. The second part of this is a lot nastier. They treat people the way they do because they can get away with it. So, you know, we have a lot of work to do on this planet with the people involved and things that are being done that should never happen. And that is going to be compounded into a great general effort to rectify the problems, whatever they may be. We'll go from there.
So that's kind of a puzzle to be solved yet.
Yeah. Well, they're working on it, but yeah.
Okay. If we can get nudges in the right direction for inventions, why can't we get them for spiritual pursuits?
Well, guess what? I'm gonna start. I made a list of my books, and I'm gonna start sending them to you. I sent you one.
Yeah, the I, myself, and me, myself, and I.
I, myself, and I. Book one. Well, there's two more of those. Then there is Sanctuary and the Phoenix Complex. Now these deal with actual interaction between the combination of just you by yourself, soul, life, spirit, three-part being, and everything else. It explains how you can cause things to be the way you want them to be. I don't want no hassles today, whatever that involves. Might be the boss, wife, kids, you don't know, okay? I cannot get specific with an individual without knowing what it is. However, if you don't like the idea of losing your keys or being lost when you jump out of bed in the morning, oh no, that's the kitchen. I want to go in the bathroom, kind of thing. And some people are not functional when they get up out of bed. Maybe a cup of coffee, nice cup of tea. However, I'm going to give you the books. I'm going to let you put them together and see what you think. Once you're done with that, then you and I can do another video on those subjects and see. You get now putting that video out is going to be interesting because you should get a load, and I mean a huge number of inquiries, replies, and he's all full of whatever. So, well, I'm sure there's some people saying that already. And,
not very many. One or two, but not very many. So
well, that's good. I can guarantee you I'm full of something. I ain't going to say what it is.
Oh, they're just jealous. Okay. Okay, yeah, and when people want copies of any of that, like that one first booklet, they have to ask me in the questions for Drake to Gail.
What I'll do is I'll send them to you, and you can do with them as you please to an extent. Do not try to explain them.
I won't, thank you.
What I'm saying is we can go through each one, have a class on it or something.
I think that's a great idea. I think people would really appreciate that. I just mean that sometimes people will ask questions on Facebook. They'll ask questions on the comments under the video. I don't have time to go through all of those different places and try to compile them. They have to send them to me to that email that I provide in the description.
Yeah. You'd be amazed how many videos I get a day.
That you should watch, you mean?
Every once in a while I'll get one that is important enough to take a look at. 90% of the stuff that I get deals with subjects that the people at whatever involvement level don't know what they're talking about at all. And I have consulted with ETs that I know, that I work with. Hey, what's the deal with this? How does this work? Am I telling people the right thing? And all that stuff. All the questions you would ask me, I'm asking the boss. And that is, the boss's name is Lucor, and he is the Chief Science Officer. Remember Spock? Well, this guy's the Chief Science Officer for the fleet that's over our head that nobody can see. So I'll give him credit where I don't give others credit.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucor. Okay, next question. What do we have here? Okay. If there are many millions of ET ships here with a care package for everyone, presumably with many ETs numbering into the billions, why can't everyone get a care package at once?
Well, first we've got to make sure that everybody ain't going to be shooting at ET.
Yes, really.
Did you see that funny looking splippy thing in the backyard? It might molest my dog. I think I better fill it full of buckshot. Well, it's hard to deliver a care package. Hey, man, got something nice for you. When somebody's shooting at you with a shotgun, it don't work well. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to try to alleviate that problem. And the end result will be that, yes, everybody gets a care package. No, everybody's not going to get them all at the same time, because other people than yourself may have extraordinary needs that nobody knows about. And those people are going to get their care packages, their replicators, and their assistants first. They need it more than somebody who doesn't have those problems. Consequently, it won't take very long, believe me.
Yes, some of us are getting by with much less than people realize. Yeah. Anyway, what's the real scoop as it relates to Rh positive and Rh negative blood types? So this is always a fun subject.
Not much. One has a certain type of blood, and one has another. I know of O positive and A positive and B complex and all kind of blood types. What is the deal? Well, there's not really that much deal. You're not either one or the other, and they're both rare. So, if you really wanted to pick on this, and I mean pick on it hard, heavy, and succinctly, the best thing you can do is to consult some of those online medical sites. They'll explain it. WikiLeaks or whatever it is, they have a pretty decent explanation. Mm-hmm. It's just a different type. But within that, you have a whole bunch of things that can and sometimes do go on. The list would take more than this show's got time to do.
Yes, it's very...
Go to Wiki and get your answers, not only from there, but they also have reference to some of these medical sites. And you're going to really get an education. You're talking reading half or three-quarters of a book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, well, there are people out there telling people that if they have Rh negative, then they're, the reptilians and they're this, that, and the other thing. And it's just a difference in the actual, the antigens on the blood cells itself. But anyway, like you said, it's far too much to go into any great detail on that.
Yeah. Wait till I turn green just for the fun of it.
Yeah, really. Please ask Drake. Oh, I already said. I did this one already.
Uh-oh.
How that happened?
She got lost in her questions.
Yeah. It's been mentioned that at least 84 civilizations preceded ours on Earth. Were the previous peoples human or something else? If they were humans, were they blacks, or have they different versions been tried?
It was a mix, and we only have had in the 864 billion year history of our solar system, we had about 100 civilizations that were of note. Now, by of note, I mean of critical, capable standing. Okay, of those, and this is going to mess up everybody's day. There's only been about 2, maybe 3 dozen, and 3 dozen is stretching. I'd say 2 dozen really notable societies. Out of all of those, we got 5 that made a difference, that were actually dealing with ET, that had high-level and sophisticated technologies, and a bunch of other. Everybody's heard of Atlantis. Well, it was real. Mm-hmm. People have not heard of the Mu very much, but they had the same level of technology of a different type.
Mm-hmm. Lemuria, is that what you said?
No, Mu. Mu.
Oh, okay.
M-A-U.
M-A-U. Oh, yeah. Okay.
M-A-U. or MU. There's a variety of spellings.
Okay.
What people have to understand is this. Only after ET divulges the histories will we know enough to be able to say, aha, I knew it, there it is, and go from there.
Okay. This will be an interesting question for you, Drake. This is, can you find a way to get on Rush Limbaugh and Hannity? I've been wondering why you're not on one of those shows. I'm sure you can find a way to stay in the lines with your comments.
Well, I think the mainstream media is probably scared to death that I might get on a show. Now, next week, I'm going to invite Rush Limbaugh onto my show, and we're going to see how that goes. If he's got the capability and time, it's available to him, and I'm going to make it available. Now, my show runs up to 3 hours. And
the Black Talk? Do you mean the Black Talk radio one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it runs up to 3 hours. And I'm going to say this again. It can get intense. I have named names, told about people. I was told indirectly to shut up or they're going to kill my grandkids and a few other wonderful things. Well, they don't have any clue as to what happens if they hurt one of my grandkids, but I can tell you this, my hunting skills are top of the line.
And trekking as well, right? Yeah, see, that's one of the problems that people don't realize. These corporations are, or these people that are corporate people on MSM, that is a controlled media, and you are not allowed to say certain things, or you're not supposed to, but you could just say it anyway, but you'll get you in trouble.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready to have a party.
Okay. Oh, they want to convene. It went on to say, I know you have an issue with Hannity, Levin, and the rest being affiliated with that group that wants to convene a convention of states. Yep. Maybe you can find a way to get through to him. Is it possible they don't know what that group is really up to?
Probably. And the people involved with it want to screw over the Constitution. And anybody that looks at things in that manner is my enemy. Period.
Thank you. How did the groups like the Dracos, Reptilians, and Greys behaving like they do prove themselves worthy to travel through the stars? Or to the stars?
They don't. They just take the technology and run.
They're pirates.
Yeah, quite literally. They run. And they thought they could build, I don't know what you'd call it, great institutions. We're the Greys. We're great, or whatever. And every time they've tried to do that, they have failed. And I'm talking about a lot longer period of time than just 800 billion years, give or take a few. I'm talking about over galactic or even universal times that run the same kind of numbers. Now, what you have to understand is it was specified, a certain person stipulated that one of my days is as of 1,000 of your years. That's 365,000 years per year. Ooh, okay.
That's a long time.
Yes, so when you speak of galactic or universal time, take your concept of 864 billion years, figure out how many days you got, multiply by 1,000, and you begin to get into the quadrillions right quick. People don't understand that there is a difference between time frames, and reference. Okay?
Well, yeah, linear time versus the time that...
No.
Ours is linear time, right?
It's more than just that. We're not on linear time anymore than anybody else. Doesn't exist.
Really?
We have time frames and timelines. Everybody says it's a line like this. Well, guess what? It's got fat spots and skinny spots and what went on in that. Okay, so no, linear time doesn't really exist. Now, you want to get into the spherical dynamics of time, you're talking interactive spherical dynamics between two realms that form a Vesica Pisces. And the Vesica Pisces is the basis for the universal and or galactic times. What you have to understand is that little place where they overlap, the little keyhole, that is the one that is controlled and controls both of the spheres. Now, that is one petal of a petal. And a petal is that thing where you got all these leaves that come out of it, different places, different shapes. They can act singularly or in concert. They may be even or oddly numbered. But the Indian sign, a petal, it's pretty simple, actually.
Wow.
Now you know.
Well, I don't know if I know or not, but I listened. I don't know if I could ever explain it to anyone else, but that's very interesting.
It's different.
Aren't you, because I know this question's in here someplace, the cues are responsible for timelines, correct? Or not?
The cues, yes.
Yeah. And you're a cue, and somebody asked, would you please explain what a cue is? So, hey.
I'll tell you to go watch Star Trek. Star Trek has a pretty good liturgy on Q. You want to follow snippets of it. Q's unlimited. You want to follow snippets of it until Dad tells the teenager it's time to come home, son. They did that on one of their episodes, and he restored everything. And Dad restored everything to the way it was supposed to have been in the first place before Sonny Boy stood up.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Beat him with a broom because he was acting out or what the deal was, but it was comical to hear. But that the family of Q takes care. We take care of a combination of things. Continuity of. Let's see here, the balance and continuity of the continuum to include time and a bunch of other things. So,
wow,
time, second nature.
I can tell. Okay, onward and upward. Okay. Will we ever get a planet to call our own and be free of ET controls and influences? I don't know that we'd want that.
We already got it. You're standing on it or sitting on it or whatever. Earth is ours, okay? And it doesn't matter. It's not. ET's not going to control squat. ET is going to explain to us how to control it correctly and how to be and a few other minor things. And, then we're going to be able to do a whole load of trading and fun and games with ET. Oh, gamers? Oh, imagine if it was in 4 or 5 dimensions all at the same time. Ooh.
Multi-dimensional.
Think about 3D chess. Now take it now put that in a video game so that it operates that way. Think about that one real close. So far, none of the so-called masters of disaster and brilliant Einstein programmers have been able to do that. So I'm waiting for that to put together. Wow. Show me. Yeah. Oh, we got levels. We got no, all at the same time, dude. Oh man.
Wow. Well, that's a game I never learned how to play anyway. But anyway.
What's that? Chess.
Chess. Yeah, no one never taught me. Anyway, let's see. So. That question doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to skip it.
We're running towards 2 hours,
I know. People say you can keep going, but it makes it very difficult when I have to, upload it to YouTube and then add the intro and
how many questions left.
Yeah, quite a few.
Okay, well, put them up first. Put them up first on the next show. That's what I do. You say 2 hour and a half, 2 hours, and that's about all I can stand?
It just gets cumbersome to try to, upload. That's the major problem. We can go a little bit longer here. We can go another 15 minutes if you want to keep going. Why don't we?
I need to go eat dinner.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. We started later than.
Yeah, I screwed that up when we went and got haircuts.
Nothing ever goes as planned. Okay, so shall we call it a day then and carry on next time? Or you want to?
My hungry level is right about here right now, and it's trying to crawl up my esophagus and grab my brain.
Okay, well, let's call this one a day. We've gone on for 2 hours. That's long enough. And I know people would like longer, but it would be easier to do it on another day than it would be to make it longer. So we will sign off. Thank you, Drake, for your time and your wonderful answers to these questions. And we will. Oh, it's a pleasure. And till next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day or evening or afternoon or whatever it is, wherever you are. Let me turn this off.